Hello, Internet. I'm Insane Lane, as well as a Canadian girl, and today we have breaking traffic laws on a bicycle from Sarasota, Florida, of earlier this year.
We're attempting a 1050 on a person on a bicycle. We're going to be in front of the Gator Club now, going west on Main Street.
Very loud.
54, it's some guy with a BMX bike helmet on. I can't identify him. He's blowing lights and just trying to run through traffic from me right now. I'm not driving in any kind of way, but he is running.
I can't even tell if the cop is moving.
He's not driving in a reckless manner, but he has acknowledged me and is refusing to stop. I don't think I need a 10-3 right now.
Okay, so pulling over a guy on a bike for going through red lights. It is news to some people that, yes, bikes are to obey red lights and stop signs and wait for the walk signal, etc. And also, I don't know if he's talking about like a bicycle or a motorbike.
It's okay, I understand. Can you just take your...
Pulled over.
Huh? You blew the red light going left on the main street, man.
Okay. That's not a motorcycle.
Dispatch, we're stopped at Central.
That looks like a...
Yeah, I didn't see the light.
Okay, that looks like those little, like, run-around trick bikes. Teenage guys where I live used to buy them cheap, throw a motor of some kind that they pulled out of wherever on them, and race them up and down the railroad tracks like idiots. This guy looks like he's 30. What is he doing on this teeny tiny little bike?
That's okay. So you actually had to go around a car that had the green light.
Oh.
And you went through the red light.
I didn't see the light, so I thought it was green. I don't know. I just went through.
Okay. You have some kind of ID on you?
Yeah. Not for a bike.
Well, if you're riding in the road, you still have to obey the traffic laws.
True.
And then I just followed you for a whole mile with me behind you.
Yeah, I couldn't hear.
When you turned back and looked at me, you didn't.
Yeah, because I couldn't hear. I don't know if it was for the other car. I don't know. So I was like, oh,
So just stay in the road in front of me and not stop?
I don't know. So I was confused. I don't know. I'm confused by everything. So
Well, you have a...
I don't know.
You have a speaker, officer. You could have said guy on the bike.
Can you hop off the bike for me real quick?
Pull over.
That's okay.
Does it have a
You can just
kickstand?
put the kickstand down or whatever and stay on the sidewalk. You gonna take your backpack off for me?
Wait, what I do wrong?
What are you doing?
Just
No, I'm
Are you
asking
arresting
what I
this
did
guy?
wrong.
For what?
What is it for? No, for what? For
Does he have a
what?
warrant?
Can I ask you for what? Wait, stop.
put your hands behind your back.
For what?
Why?
We're just gonna talk for a second.
Why are you arresting him?
Put your hands behind your back.
All right, sir.
Let go of your phone.
No, don't throw like that. Don't throw it. Please, don't throw it like that.
Stop biting me.
All right, I'll stop fighting you, sir.
Okay, officer, why are you arresting him?
I'm trying to ask what's going on. What's going on?
I'm gonna tell you, but you have to talk to me first.
Sorry, can I get my
Okay, then
phone?
try talking, idiot.
You got my shit like that, bro.
Okay, I don't know what this cop's problem is, because unless he ran this guy's name and he came back as like a wanted felon, there is no reason that this guy should be putting cuffs on anybody. Like, give him a ticket for running the light. That's it. So unless the cop is about to say this guy has a warrant, I have no idea what's going on here. And I think if he had found a warrant, he would have said so.
You can't fight me like that,
I'm not,
man.
bro. Take on my
You can't arrest someone for no reason.
Stand right there. Stand right there and stop spinning.
Like you're saying you want to talk, then talk.
I'm talking what's going on. I'm scared.
You don't have to arrest someone to talk to them.
I was going to one light. Is there a light? What's going on? I'm so confused. What's going on?
Yeah, but you don't get to fight and pull away from me when I tell you to put your hands behind your back. You don't have an opportunity to
I'm just.
Officer, you have to have a reasonable reason to arrest him. I'm still waiting to hear it. I think you don't have one. I think you felt disrespected and you're pulling this shit. And this is one thing I hate in policing is that other cop shows up and just immediately backs first cop without having any clue what is going on.
To discuss that with me.
Yeah, I was just trying to figure what's going on. Like, over a light or something?
That's the wrong way to go about it.
No, I was just confused what's going on.
No, the cop is the one going about this the wrong way.
You're under arrest for obstruction for not stopping.
Oh, my bad.
Oh, yeah, right. You just made that up.
I didn't know. I didn't know that.
Well, because he didn't say it, but this is bullshit.
I didn't know what's going on. I didn't know.
Like, I'm sorry, the officer arrested first and made up that charge later.
I couldn't hear him to the helmet.
So when you look back at me and then pass people on the opposite lane of traffic, do you think that was?
No, I thought you were doing it for the other car. I didn't know
you
that.
went into the opposite lane of traffic to pass cars to get past me?
But this is exactly what I said. Like, the cop can call it obstruction all he wants. That's fucking bullshit. I felt disrespected, so I'm going to abuse my authority and arrest this guy and, ruin his day because how dare he not immediately stop, even though I did not make it clear that he was the one I was pulling over. And I have a loudspeaker, which I could have used to say, guy on the BMX bike, pull over. And then you might have had obstruction or even fleeing and eluding if he continued, not pulling over. But you didn't do that. And he had a reasonable explanation as to why he didn't pull over. And you immediately arrested him because he disrespected you. Like, I'm sorry, this is pissed off police. This is abuse of authority. This is ridiculous. And this cop needs to be very much disciplined and told not to do petty crap like this. But I'm noticing more and more officers showing up, which is such a waste of all their time as well. But they're all going along with this.
I was so confused. I don't know if it was for me or for some other car. I don't know. I'm lost at that point,
I don't know. I was just fucking your head over towards him. I don't know if you're gonna spit at him.
No, I'm confused. What's going on? Is my phone smashed? Officer?
I don't know. The case came off of it at least.
Is the screen okay?
So they broke the guy's phone.
Am I fine?
Yeah, well, you're trying to go in the back of the car.
No, why am I getting arrested for?
Huh? For
Yeah,
obstruction.
you have
For
that is
stopping.
BS.
I didn't know that. My bad, sir.
That is utter BS.
You gotta know.
Wait, how long am I going to jump for?
Until the
You want another charge?
Get in, dude.
Get in the car. You want?
Get in.
I'm sorry.
Like, all the other cops there, somebody should be saying, hey, let's
What am
I going to do?
slow down and...
I didn't know.
Yeah, no, because he's right. He didn't do anything wrong. This is garbage.
Yeah.
This is just utter garbage.
Just keep an eye on him. Yeah.
So we were coming up Orange, and I watched him blow the light.
Okay, I'm going to assume this guy is the senior cop on the scene because the other cop is actually answering him. So I'm assuming he's higher ranked.
So I got behind him and turned on my lights, and he looks behind. He didn't actually. I had to hit my sirens. Once I hit my sirens, because he's got this helmet on, he looks behind him and then goes into the opposite lane of traffic and splits down past another car. So I just stayed in my lane, waited. I caught back up with him around 5 points, and I hit my siren on him again, and he cut around cars again at 5 points. So this is where I was going to give up, but he stopped.
Okay.
Okay, so you suck at your job is what I just heard, because you wanted to pull this guy over. You flashed your siren. He acknowledged you, but I guess thought you weren't pulling him over, so he moved out of your way. You kept following him without your siren on, and then only when you caught up with him in a different place, hit your siren again, and you were still going to let him go, but then he stopped. So you didn't really have a decent reason to pull this guy over, did you? Or else you wouldn't have been about to let him go, as you just said. Like, again, you got to think, how is a defense attorney gonna, spin this in a courtroom? And that right there was just everything.
I just started talking to him, got his license, had him step off the bike.
And then arrested him.
I was running him in the stuff, and he starts yelling out, screaming out, "Why is this taking so long?"
That did not.
So I was detaining him. I've got obstruction anyways. And as soon as I
didn't hear him yelling.
He fought against me. There was never anything other than just holding his hands behind his back, put the cuffs on. I don't know how it works, but
Okay,
he went.
this cop is a liar. Unless there was something cut out, which I don't think there was. I didn't hear that guy yelling at all. I didn't hear him saying, like, why is this taking so long? And, officer, if you think that was fighting, you need to get into real fights so you can learn the difference. And include the part where you forced the guy to break his phone, rather than just taking it out of his hand and setting it, like, on the hood of the car. Respectfully, you ordered him to drop it, even after he asked you not to, and it's broken now. Include that part, because you're responsible for property damage, Officer Moron.
When the phone was dropped, so I'll document it, but he wouldn't release it out of his hands.
Okay.
You didn't try to
And that
take
was
it.
like after you detained him, you just held him like that.
While I was trying to get his hands in handcuffs, he had it in his hand, so I pulled it down and the handcuffs on
Okay,
it.
so you admit
So
you
you
broke
detained
his
him because-
phone.
Was he trying to get away, or?
Because I was going to arrest him for running, but
Okay. What are you going to charge him with?
at least obstruction, if not reckless. I just got to read.
Bicycle?
Yeah, you don't have this.
He made sirens and he made attempts to elude the traffic stop.
No, he didn't, because you didn't conduct the traffic stop correctly.
It doesn't matter. I've just got to read through the statutes, which is why I'm more than confident I have an obstruction. Okay. I'll have to get back to you on what else I find in the statute.
Maybe run him, find out like what his history is.
Yeah, he's got some locals, nothing crazy. He doesn't have a warrant. He lives on Lots Way.
He's screaming about. He said he didn't know he was being pulled over. He thought you were trying to get another car.
That's crazy. Yeah. So
Yeah.
he went into he crossed the double solid, passing other cars after he went back.
Okay, the guy with the 3 stripes on his arm, he's going to be the supervisor. I think that makes him a sergeant. And he is looking like he's not buying this. He is looking very confused as to why this guy is arrested. Anytime a cop says, well, I'm not sure, but I have to look it up in the statutes, they're fabricating charges, in my opinion. If you don't immediately know what you can arrest someone for because you saw them do it, if you don't know what crime they actually committed, and you got to go into like the deep language of the statutes to see what you can throw at the wall and see if it sticks, you're committing false arrest. You have nothing. And that is what's going on here. Like, even other cop is like, I'm not sure you have anything. Let me check here. Because, yeah, this cop that we're watching the body cam of, that one, he is lying. He's making up things that didn't happen. He keeps changing his version of events. He's admitted he can't conduct a traffic stop for shit. He was not actively trying to pull the guy over the whole time. He was turning his siren off and on, so that isn't going to tell somebody that you're following them or you're actively trying to pull them over. So the guy's story that I didn't know you were trying to pull me over is entirely plausible. Especially if you're the guy on a bike, you're not going to think the cop is pulling you over. You know, especially if they flick their siren for 2 seconds and then turn it off. That's not telling me to pull over. That's not telling me anything. That I'm going to take that as meaning get out of my way, which it sounds like the guy did. He went down a different street, and this cop then had to circle and follow him. So this all just sounds like petty nonsense from a cop who felt disrespected, excuse me, and is now trying to just ruin this guy's like life because he felt disrespected. But we have a senior officer here. So I'm hopeful that senior officer pulls the rookie's leash, because I'm gonna hope that this cop is a rookie, because if he's experienced and then he's done stuff like this before and he should have been disciplined for it. But the senior officer should be putting a stop to this and saying, like, no, you need to release this guy. This is ridiculous. You are way exceeding your authority. This is absurd. You had no cause to arrest. And next time you want to pull someone over, you leave the siren on and you use your loudspeaker. And then we don't have this problem.
Yeah, and he did that twice. Looked over his shoulder to see if I was behind him, and then passed the car.
And you do have a dash cam,
Because
right?
he didn't know what you were doing.
So then it's not going to be a use of force then?
No, sir.
All right. So just de minimis.
Fleeing and eluding a law enforcement officer.
You're actually trying to charge him with fleeing and eluding,
Yeah. So I'm just gonna dig through the statutes and make
which
sure
is
that I
never going to
Make sure
hold
you got
up.
all the elements. You have your lights and sirens on. Your
Except he
camera
didn't.
activated when you turned it on. Dash cam's on. Okay.
He actively said he did not have his lights and sirens on the whole time. He was turning them on and off.
But we'll see. Something done.
So that's a no on
No.
that's a no on the sergeant putting a stop to this travesty of justice.
You recognize him?
I thought maybe he was one of our trip chicks that worked at the very not. We did have a Lorenzo, but it wasn't on. And he lived on Watts
Like they
Way.
said, he has no warrants.
Not banging his head or anything, right?
I was just about to tell you that I was gonna wait to start doing proactive stuff until next rotation. See?
There it is. There it is. There it is. Rookie idiot. He just confirmed. Yes, I'm a rookie, and yes, I'm incredibly stupid. Because he just said I was gonna wait to do proactive stuff till my next rotation, meaning he is still in training. He's a rookie, and somebody needs to pull his leash. This is ridiculous. There is a sergeant there who knows this guy is out of line, who knows he's completely overreaching with this garbage, and should put a stop to it and teach him an actual valuable lesson of, hey, keep your lights and sirens on and don't commit petty BS arrests like this that are just going to get thrown out. And like, don't think that like district attorneys and prosecutors don't think they don't know which cops are full of shit. And so even if like they will learn, okay, this cop, let's say his last name is Smith, he makes a lot of petty, stupid arrests that never get prosecuted. So when they see Smith as arresting officer, they're not going to be looking too closely at what the charges are because they know you're full of shit already. So your cases are just going to get tossed because they're sick of your garbage. This cop is exactly that. He keeps up like this, he's going to get himself that reputation in a heartbeat. Because, like, again, prosecutors, district attorneys, they are not going to waste their time with this utter crap. There's no way that this does not get dismissed immediately.
There's nothing in it. But I don't know what's in this. I'm not gonna test them for us. The only way I can test it is to break it open. I don't know what your guys' normal policy is on those.
Oh, so now we're going to try and fabricate drug charges too.
We don't know. This is okay.
So what do I do with perishable stuff? It gets thrown? Is that still the...
Get thrown.
This is empty Cool, but he's holding a peanut butter.
Okay, for the text that I'm partially blocking, the man was charged with resisting and failure to stop at the red light. Arraignment is scheduled for March 10th. That's today. That's today. That's the actual day that this is being filmed on. It's March 10th. Happy Mario Day, everyone. Yeah, because this was really recent. This was only like a little over a month ago. Wow, it takes a month for an arraignment? Wow. I hope this guy got himself a lawyer. I hope he gets this dismissed, and I hope he files a lawsuit against the police department for breaking his phone and for basically arresting him without cause because they did not have cause. This is ridiculous. But shame on the sergeant most of all, because he should have put a stop to this. Like, he has the responsibility not only to like uphold justice and the law, but to train other officers.
Cameras if you want to watch any of them before I take off.
And he's failing to do that.
I think I can. I mean, I don't want to turn off the dash cam with
I
me back.
believe the term is to supervise.
That you get the stop here.
I'm gonna stop this and watch it.
Yeah, I guess it say deactivated for download.
Deactivating for download.
Okay, so that's the end of the camera. Turning it off so they can download the footage for their landmark case against a guy who ran a red light on a bike and was then arrested by a moron who then another cop who should have put a stop to it. Again, Sergeant, whatever his name is, he's getting a big F. He's got failure to supervise, failure to intervene in an arrest that should not be happening, failure to instruct a rookie cop on how to do things correctly, like all kinds of problems with a senior officer in a supervisory capacity not putting a stop to this. And that is what is so wrong with so much of policing, that even though that sergeant is standing there and you can see on his face, he knows this is wrong. He knows this is absolute BS that's not going to go anywhere. It's going to get tossed. And he knows that this is a rookie cop being overzealous because he felt disrespected and was doing this out of petty revenge and abuse of authority and nothing else. You can see on that man's face, he knows it, but he does nothing about it. And that's the problem with so much of policing, is that once one cop makes a decision on, I'm charging this person with this, even if a senior person knows they're wrong, they don't do anything. Because they have that mentality of you always back each other up. You always back your brother in blue. I'm not saying you shouldn't support each other or support cops. Believe it or not, I support cops. I don't support bad cops or bad policing. This is bad policing. No matter which way you look at it, this is very bad policing. And the only way it's going to change is if there are cops willing to say to another cop, hey, you're out of line. You need to let that man go because you have no cause to arrest him. You're just doing it because you're pissed off. And that's what the supervisor should have done. But those are my thoughts on it. What are yours? Do you think this is as absurd as I do? Do you think the sergeant should have intervened? What about the guy who got arrested? How do you think he should handle it? He's apparently in arraignment court today. So if you're new here, please like, comment, and subscribe, and come back for the next one soon. Until then, I've been Insane Lane as well as Canadian Girl. Bye-bye.